Let's roll, baby. Welcome in. It is a special edition of the New York Sports Rush presented by the Bet Rivers Network. John Jastremski joining you on a Sunday evening. Why am I joining you on a Sunday evening? We've had a whole lot of wheelings and dealings, a whole lot of moving and shaking when it comes to the Major League Baseball trade deadline, where, yes, everybody is still collecting the dust and is still trying to figure out, okay, what is the next move after Tarek Skubal on Saturday night got traded from the Detroit Tigers to the Los Angeles Dodgers. Once again, the rich get richer. The woe is me from the people screaming for a salary cap. That is a discussion. That is a talking point that we'll have all winter to discuss. I promise you. I don't know how much baseball we're going to have in 2027. So for me, at this particular moment in time, I'm going to discuss these two trades that were made. One by the New York Yankees, the other by the New York Mets. And let's go with the news that's a little bit more surprising. Because Freddie Peralta getting traded by the New York Mets to the Tampa Bay Rays, which we will get to, isn't exactly a stunner. If you've been paying attention to what's going on with the Mets over the last few weeks, you know they've been open for business. Everything must go, the whole deal. But Luis Garcia, this is where I want to start. When I first heard yesterday the Yankees were a potential fit for Garcia, the eyebrows were raised a little bit. Why? Because what position does he primarily play? First base. He has some experience playing second base, which we'll get to. It's not particularly good defensive experience playing second base. So for the most part, Garcia is a guy that you're looking at as a first base DH type deal. The Yankees have Ben Rice. And against left-handed pitching, they have Paul Goldschmidt. And you throw in the fact that Stanton supposedly is supposed to be on the mend. And you're trying to figure out, okay, well, where does Garcia fit? Well, I'll tell you where he fits. And I'll tell you why it was very easy for me, despite the clunkiness of it, to say, yeah, I'm on board. Look at the numbers. For a Yankee team that, yes, had a successful road trip against Philly, against the White Sox, against the Cubs, but lost a whole lot of games, including one on Saturday night because they couldn't hit at all. They yucked up the two gems by Schlittler and by Weathers because the lineup has been an absolute disgrace. I mean, does anybody want to sit there and watch Anthony Volpe and Max Schumann play? Anthony Volpe hitting fifth, Max Schumann leading off. Disgusting. That's supposed to be a team that's going to take down the big bad Dodgers? So you need an infusion of offense. Garcia this year has been unbelievable for Washington. He's got a 560 slug, lean baseball. He's got 23 bombs. He's got 76 RBIs. He's got a 283 batting average. If you look at a lot of the advanced stats, the average exit velo, if that suits your fancy. Listen, you're not talking to Mr. Analytics, but I'm just using the regular numbers and the analytics to go and enhance my point on what an absolute stud this guy has been. The hard hit rate is good. The barrel rate is good. The average exit velo is good. Everything about what this guy is profiling is off the freaking charts. And he's a live bat. He's having a career season. That helps the New York Yankees. So my guess would be Rice will play a lot more in the DH role because his defense is suspect at first base. You'll see him at first a handful of the games, a handful of times. But I think for the time being, Garcia, Goldschmidt is your strict platoon at first base. Garcia rakes against right-handed pitching. Goldschmidt, despite tailing off, is still useful against lefties. And this now puts the Yankees in a position where if Stanton comes back, it's gravy. It is no longer the same necessity where it's like, wow, we really need Giancarlo Stanton's bat in this lineup. This Garcia move eases some of that. That's good. Is there more work to do for the Yankees? Absolutely. They traded away a bunch of, they're fringe relievers. Not that anybody is shed any tears that Jake Bird is not going to be on this team. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. He stunk at the beginning. He stunk at the end. The Yankees thought they might have had a diamond in the rough a year ago coming over from Colorado. He stinks. Cruz is a guy that a lot of people liked. And, he throws super hard. He had pitched really well in the minor leagues. After the Doval trade, there was maybe a thought that he was going to have more of a role within this Yankee bullpen. So you gave up a bunch of guys who are going to go and help Washington in the back end of the bullpen where they desperately need help. But the Yankees get a live bat. That is a great place to start this deadline. Does this take the Yankees out of the Arise sweepstakes? Probably. Because unless you tell me now that Jazz Chisholm is going to be flipped and Luis Arise is going to end up being the everyday second baseman for the Yankees, can't imagine a world where Arise would make sense. They need to go and get themselves another catcher. It's really nice, and it was a cool tribute to see Austin Wells go and wear the Thurman Munson orange chest protector and gear on the anniversary of his passing. It's probably the coolest thing that Austin Wells has ever done in a Yankee uniform, quite frankly, but we all know his offense has been abysmal. His game has been pathetic. And I don't know who that catcher is that the Yankees are going to bring in. Minnesota's not going to be trading Ryan Jeffers, especially with Detroit trading away Skubal. They are right in the thick of things in the wild card race. They're right there in the American League Central. So I don't think Jeffers is going anywhere. Does that mean Rutschman? Does that mean Stevenson from Cincinnati? They need to go and get themselves another catcher. They are going to add another bullpen arm. I think it's obvious they're going to go and add another bullpen arm because they just traded away a bunch of their depth at that particular spot. So I don't know who the bullpen arm of choice may be. Looks like with the way the Padres are playing, Miller's not going anywhere. But that's where Cashman's usually at his best. I don't worry about Cashman from a pitching standpoint. I really don't. Where my fears always come in with this Yankee GM, is he going to be able to get it right offensively? Because if you look at why the Yankees have fallen short in the postseason, year after year after year, literally since Aaron Boone has taken over the team. You can even go back to 2017 where they didn't hit in any of the road games against the Houston Astros. A majority of their postseason defeats have been about the failure to go and get the job done offensively. And look, that's the great challenge for a whole lot of these teams in an era in baseball in which it's easier than ever to go and find pitching, and it has become more difficult than ever to go and find legitimate offensive help. So Yankees go and get legitimate offensive help. The fit seems weird on the surface, but if you are a live, power, legitimate offensive bat, newsflash, you are going to help the New York Yankees. So Garcia on his way. We'll see what else has shaken in store for Mr. Cashman and company. Now, Mets didn't move. No surprise. Freddie Peralta out. And now that Freddie Peralta has officially concluded his tenure as a New York Met, I think it is fair to say it is one of the most underwhelming, disappointing, monumental flops we've had in a long, long time from someone who had high standards, a good reputation, and was brought to this city to go and be a difference maker. Freddie Peralta has basically put together the worst season of his life over these first 4 months. Now, you could debate the merits of, the Mets thought they were bringing in a 1A. Some people billed Freddie Peralta to be a 1. He was really a perfect number 2. And the way I looked at it was 1A alongside Noah McClain. He pitched like a fifth starter. I mean, it pitched to basically a 5 ERA. Kind of sums up where this Mets season has gone, has it not? Peralta and Bo Bichette in many ways symbolize everything that has gone wrong for the 2026 New York Mets. Because these are guys that came in. And listen, I can dissect plenty of things that I have a problem with when it comes to the way David Stearns has run this baseball team. There's a lot to unpack there. My confidence level in a GM that did a nice job in Milwaukee, but so far has fallen completely flat on his face running the New York Mets. The laundry list of complaints that I can give you, well documented. But let's give David Stearns at least a pass on this. Was there one person in the offseason that you can find that had a problem with the Freddie Peralta trade? I mean, think about it for a minute. Can you find one person within the media, within the fan base, around baseball, whatever? Find me the person that criticized the Mets for making that trade with Brandon Sproat and Jet Williams. It was universally celebrated. Sometimes deals don't work out. The problem is the Mets put themselves in a position where they needed Peralta to work out. They needed Bichette to work out. They didn't. So now what ends up happening is you trade them to the Tampa Bay Rays. You get a couple of top 20 prospects. Am I going to sit there and give you the scouting report on Emil Pitre or Gary Gilhill or Aiden Smith? No, go to Baseball Prospectus for that one. Try saying that 10 times fast. Or whatever your minor league hub of source may be. Here's what I know. Wake me up if they can go and actually help the New York Mets, whether it's next year and beyond. Whatever you could get at this point for Peralta, who you were not going to re-sign, you got to go, you got to take it, and you got to hope that it can help the team build this thing back up down the road. But what an absolute disaster for Peralta and an absolute disaster for the Mets. And listen, Peralta's gone. Minter is gone. But there's a lot more work to be done. I mean, geez. Luke Weaver trade seems imminent. Where? Clay Holmes, I expect to be dealt. Is it Atlanta? Is it Milwaukee? Is it Philadelphia? Like, there are two teams within the division that really could use Clay Holmes. But are the Mets going to be willing, dare I say, to go and engage in those particular talks? I wouldn't give a crap, personally. I wouldn't care. The Atlanta Braves are going to go and give me the best offer for Clay Holmes. That's where he's going. And if it means Clay Holmes pitches well there, finds a home there, and he's playing against you for the next couple of years, it is what it is. You're a bad baseball team. So you have to get yourself in a position where you're no longer a bad baseball team. And that means you get the best possible deal you can in exchange for whatever your assets may be, which is Holmes, Weaver, Brazoban's hugging people, Brooks Raley, Luis Robert, Tyrone Taylor. A lot of work, right? Still a lot of work in front of David Stearns over the next 24 hours. So by the time we get back on the New York Sports Rush, on Monday morning with me and Licata, there might be more news. And then by the time you hit Monday at 6 o'clock, you'll officially know, okay, this is now the exodus of the 2026 New York Mets. And my goodness, it is going to be an ugly, ugly scene over the final 2 months of the year. But this is what happens. The season, I mean, let's be real. The season was over when you lost 12, 13 games in a row. Teams don't recover from that. They just don't. Even in this day and age where, teams have the additional playoff spot, the 2024 Mets, this year's Red Sox. As a whole, you lose that amount of games in that amount of time, there's no turning back. There's no turning back. All right, we got a couple of YouTube comments. This one from I Miss the Old Howard Stern. Get me Adley next. Sign me up. Adley Rutschman has a lot of injury concerns. I'm skeptical from a Baltimore standpoint. It's one thing I just mentioned. People are going to be like, JJ, you're contradicting yourself. You just said the Mets could go and trade Clay Holmes to the Atlanta Braves. Why can't the Orioles trade Rutschman to the Yankees? I'll tell you why it's a little different. It's a little different because Clay Holmes is not someone that once was a franchise cornerstone, right? Clay Holmes was someone that was a reclamation project. They basically took him, tried to build him back up being a starting pitcher. And it's worked. They're selling high on Holmes. The Orioles are not selling high on Rutschman. And I know there are risk concerns in the performance. It's not what it was when he was an all-star. But he'd be a massive upgrade for the Yankees to catch a spot. Like Elmer Rodriguez for Adley Rutschman, That's a trade I'm making. This one from Jack Wagner, and this is on Garcia. He doesn't help against lefties. That's true. But you know what? The Yankees need help against anyone. They need help against anyone. And I don't know if the Yankees are going to make this move now. And I don't know if the Yankees and the Blue Jays would even be able to tango. I would absolutely call Toronto about George Springer. The guy's a gamer. He's a winning player. It means less Trent Grisham against lefties. Look at what the guy did in the postseason last year. Look at what he's done his entire career in big spots. That's a guy for 2 months to play for my team. This one from Jay Smith of VB757. The Yankees won't even bring down the big bad Rays. Well, listen, the big bad Rays are paying the neck to play. And Freddie Peralta now, mark my words on this. He's going to pitch great for Tampa over the final 2 months of the year. That's a smart organization. I'm sure they've been scouting him intently. Watch a couple of mechanical tweaks, and Freddie Peralta has a monster 6 weeks to the year. This one from Wally. This move feels like the first of more to come. Sure hope so. Sure hope so for the Yankees. Need a catcher. Need a bullpen arm. And they also could use another bat. So the wheeling and dealings have begun. And listen, the big talk coming out of the weekend is going to be Tarek Skubal this, Tarek Skubal that. The guy I'm going to spend time with on Monday really wanted the Yankees to get him. I'm not shedding any tears the Yankees didn't get him. Because you know what? He didn't solve their problem. Does he hit? I'm not sweating what a Yankee playoff rotation is going to look like. I am sweating what a Yankee lineup is going to look like and how in the world they're going to hit against Suarez, Sonny Gray. Maybe it's Crochet. Maybe it's Peralta. Maybe it's McClanahan. And the teams they have to beat within the American League. So the memo to Brian Cashman is nice start, but a whole lot more work to do. That's going to do it for the New York Sports Rush, presented on the Bet Rivers Network. John Jastremski signing off. We'll be back Monday at some point. There might be some more deals. Might? It better be. JJ out. Be good, everybody.